you know why I wanted to have this meeting with you is Shelanti is 13 years old this year. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, can you believe it? Yeah. So, and there's a few people that I really wanted to honor for the impact that they had on, what we've become and what we are and, the things we do.
And I think it's so important to honor those people for the impact, because our job can be quite a thankless one. You've been a headmaster for such a long time, you know what I'm talking about, And I think it's important that we tell each other that, and that you know that, and you were the first person that made such an impact on, I think on me personally, first and foremost, and then, I filtered it through to the school.
But I think, so that's why I wanted to do the interview with you today, is to say thank you, and to honor you for what you do, and to tell you what, the real impact was on, in 12 years, I mean, how many children has gone through Shelanti in 12 years? And you've played a part in all of it.
Absolutely, what an honor to be able
to do. And I think now specifically this week with Charlene, listening to all the people phoning in and telling her how great, telling us how great she was. And then I was just thinking, did I tell her that
when she was still alive?
Absolutely, that's exactly what I thought when I was hearing it,
And I think we need to encourage each other. So I want to take you back a bit, because I don't know if you can remember the first time you came to Shelanti. Can you remember?
I actually can't.
Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. I should be able to remember. I always said to my wife, I should have kept a book of every school that I'd been to and but honestly, it just one comes and the next one comes and you move on,
For sure. No, you move on, for sure.
And I mean, you've done it for so many years also. You've been to so many places. So we moved in this building in 2011. And I'm not sure either, okay? So, bear with me. I'm not sure, but I think in 2013, we invited you to come and speak at our school. And we used the upstairs room, and you spoke about pink brain, blue brain. You did that talk for the parents. So we invited the parents to come. So we were here as well, but you then did the pink brain, blue brain talk.
And okay, so first and foremost, it changed how we speak to boys, okay? Because I can remember you said that if you want to talk to a man, you take him to a pub or a bar or something, and then you stand around the counter shoulder to shoulder and you watch sport while talking, this way. Now still, I see a teacher walking past with a boy shoulder to shoulder, because from that day onwards, I said we will never look a boy in the eye again, okay?
Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Yeah.
You take it for a walk.
Especially if it's in an anxiety-rich space. So, if you're going to have a discussion or you're going to collaborate with him over a topic or the design of a model, then he's happy. But the moment there's going to be possible conflict, or you're wanting him to explain something, that eye-to-eye contact is very, very hard for the male brain. And we can develop it. It doesn't mean that the brain can't do it. But in children, and especially when the majority of the teachers in primary school are female, there is this case of, look at me. I want an answer from you. And of course, the brain just goes like, it loses contact.
Yes, we do that. So still today, I'll see, so we've got these flower boxes also. So then the two of them will go and we do whatever, blah, 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 and then there will be a conversation, never eye to eye, but shoulder to shoulder. And I remember that from 2013, and then the pink brain that you said, and then the girl that you said, just wants to be praised.
Yeah.
And wants to feel loved.
Yeah. And
it must be pretty, And I can just remember that until today, when I do training with new staff and we speak about, boys and girls and how you handle a boy, don't tell him to look you in the eye, okay?
Yeah.
And then the other thing you said, and that you keep on saying, it also is your tone. So now I had new staff this year, and I said, if you want to talk to a boy, you talk like this. And when you go home, when you go home, you talk like this, and then it's a whole thing. And so also, you always say, Gavin, you try it out on your husband and you come and tell me if it works. And then I say to the newbies, now you go tonight and you try it out on your husband and you can't, so for all the years, Gavin Keller, it's just been, what it is. And I think the wonderful thing now, we're going to come to where you are now, is you've always had the science behind it, but you've had the ability to present it in such a way that it's entertaining and it's, it's inspirational and whatever. But you've got that gift to almost package neuroscience into this, it's just wonderful. Okay, do you remember this?
Oh my word! Now that's going back. Gee whiz! What a beautiful photograph, man.
Yeah, that was at Rotanga Junction.
That's right.
I think around about 2016. When you were invited by Professional Minds to be a speaker.
That's right. Sure.
And Kobus Neerling was also there. The brain profiles I do. And
that's right.
You came up as one of the guest speakers. And then I said to all my staff, we are going to listen to Gavin Keller at Rotanga Junction. And there you are.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is amazing. Hey, gosh, I remember that. I do remember.
Do you?
Sure.
Yeah. That was a
amazing.
Brilliant conference. Yeah. And brilliant. you had to demonstrate to them, you had that flute thing,
Yes.
that you blow on. You remember that?
That's right. Yeah, the train whistle. Still got it somewhere.
Yeah. And then you did that song with us that we all had to get up. And we all had to do that song with you.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
Getting them to understand the value of crossing that midline. That if we could just get our kids off their bums, because if their bums are numb, their brains are dumb. So get them off their bums, get the oxygen and the glucose and the brain-derived neurotrophic factors into the brain, get the fertilizer in the brain, then new pathways can be laid.
And then when I come to your elephant and your crocodile and your CEO, and then you always say that your brain starts in your butt. And then my ultimate favorite entertainment always is to tell the new teachers that. And then the first timers at Shelanti, the children, when we do our theme is emotional intelligence, I said to them that your brain is in your butt. And then they would, no, Mrs. Kempen, no. And then again, because this year on Keller Education, you've got all those resources that supports what you say. So again, you say it starts in your butt, and then you also say, why? Because the brain needs oxygen, the brain needs this, and then there's that whole science that you explain behind it, but again packaged in a way. So then I'll say to so now some teachers don't listen, You know what a headmaster is like. Teachers don't listen to me. So now I sit here and I watch and I see an hour has gone past. Nobody has been outside, our school is small enough. So now I know I need to make the children my spy. I said, listen, if your teacher hasn't given you a brain break, in 20 minutes, if your butt hasn't moved, you come and tell me, okay? Because you all know that your brain is in your butt.
Excellent.
So they're the whistleblowers,
Yeah. And my experience is that teachers actually appreciate, because we sort of get sidetracked, and we've got all this amazing stuff we want them to do, but we forget that they're having to use that incredible amount of energy to process all this information that we're giving them. And they just need someone to say, hey, ma'am, we need to move. Good.
Yes.
Let's go.
My butt needs to move. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you package this whole emotional intelligence thing into crocodile and in elephant and in CEO. And since then, and I know you saw this when you came, we've pasted these on the desks of the little kiddies,
Correct.
And then in the mornings, they gauge, so they've got this little peg here to see, okay, where am I? Okay, so this one has got his CEO, in his CEO brain, so we're ready to go type of thing, And you know what? Also, the phenomenal value of this, that I found out in years only, it didn't come, after your first or second talk, is that in a way you take away that reaction of the child away from the child, if you understand what I'm saying. So
Correct.
Now they will say, my crocodile was out. It's not a punishment to the child or you know what I'm trying to say. So now it's not you. Woo, you didn't, the crocodile wasn't happy.
Yeah. And what's so beautiful, Deirdre, is that is how we as humans are designed. We're designed to have a crocodile to keep us alive.
Yeah.
So it's not that we've done something wrong. It's just that we haven't been able to control it in that particular environment. And that's part of growing up. And so the more opportunity we get. And I mean, the fact that they see it visually on their desk every day. And that's what I just love about that peg on there, because they are being able, what they call, become self-aware. So they are aware the whole time on that scale of crocodile, elephant, CEO, where they are processing data. And the moment they can clip onto the crocodile and say, I'm sorry, I reacted. And my crocodile, I lost control. My brain, my thinking brain lost control of my survival brain, thinking that I was under attack, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Just that experience of being able to say that is what many adults today can't say.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that you teaching so-called children with learning challenges these vital life skills just blows my mind in terms of what you've achieved at that school of yours.
Yeah. And it like I said, it is a question of, or even, they'll say, I feel my crocodile coming out, or I feel, and then we'll say, so the wheel of choices at the top, and then we'll say, you've got 10 choices now. So that crocodile needs to be safe now. So make a choice now, type of thing. So, and what, Gavin, I've also, in the years that I've listened to you several times about that, I just realized how much parents come to a school like ours with their crocodiles, very much present.
Yeah.
Because that part of your brain, like you say, designed to protect you, has now been hurt or has now been disillusioned. And now you get this parent whose defenses are very much up,
Correct.
and
Correct.
then it even made sense to me in terms of adults, because I mean your that brain fight or freeze, and then I'll often say to the staff, but our job at Shelanti is to make that parent feel safe.
Correct.
And the moment that parent feels safe, we won't see those defenses. And all of this just, and because I think I'm a visual learner, I see and recognize, and then also impart that that knowledge, that emotional intelligence knowledge to my staff. Because as a teacher, I think it's so easy to take things personally or be this despondent. And just think I've put everything in, and this parent just keeps on and on and on. And then I could say, but remember, this parent has been hurt so many times, or this parent has been, so that brain, all the brain is doing all the time is saying, protect, 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 protect. It's going to take time.
It is. And the only way we do that is through relationship. So it's about, it's what they call PERMO, is that positive emotions, that engagement, that relationship, making meaning of what's happening, and then acknowledgement. And what I've had to learn is that a simple message to that angry parent is, I hear what you're saying. Not, I'm going to do as you say, not, I'm going to grovel before you, not, you can beat me to death with what you're saying. I hear you're upset. I hear it. And that's all they wanted to know, and we can work from here, but I hear where you are. And that's really hard for us teachers who like to be in control of everything,
Yeah. And also, I think also feeling the pressure of wanting to fix this or wanting to make it right, and then, and not being able to, and then realizing, but it's going to take the time that it's going to take, and you need to have grace for yourself as much as you need for the child or the parent, But this has been, this is really, and then I'm not even talking about children with anxiety or depression.
Yeah. This is just normal children. Yeah.
Then I'm not even talking about, and now we're writing exams at the moment. So it's very, our exams, some write it on iPads. So it's not a stressful thing, but it is stressful. And this morning in the staff room again, we spoke about a specific child being so stressed. And again, I said, but remember what we said about a functioning child. A functioning child feels safe and loved. So if you have to give that child an example to that question, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what you're actually doing, and I'm working with a school at the moment where we're taking the word assess and evaluate out, and we're replacing with not feedback, but feed up. The lovely Afrikaans word opvoeding, the feed up and the feed forward. So here's some feed forward for you because the reason we do this is not to give you a mark on what you know. We do this in order to show you what the next steps are. So it's the feeding forward. So there should be no stress in assessment, because all we're doing is seeing what are the next steps we've got to take in order to help you achieve your goal. And that is, it's such a simple switch, but it fundamentally changes the concept of anxiety in assessment.
And the perception of the child, because I think the two of us can have hours of debate about the system in South Africa that is assessment based, the educational system that is assessment based. So here we can talk hours and hours about the fact that teachers teach to assess. Okay, so we invited you to our professional breakfast in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that.
Surely
and that was when they brought those little robots that they
brought these robots in. You were our guest speaker then, and then I could properly show you around and
oh man, I was so impressed with the school that day. It really was spectacular. And
again, just your way to inspire, and then the other teachers that were here as well. So we then also visited your school. I don't know if you know that, but Glynis and I came to visit Sun Valley, and that was before this, prior to this. I think this must have been 2018 maybe, and then we started with the integration of the subjects, so that you do at Sun Valley School. And we started integrating. Now you took it so much further. Writing your own textbooks, the way that you are. So writing your own textbooks and doing your own thing, and when you walk into Sun Valley, it looks like a private school. You must actually say, is this a government school? Because it is, what you've done there is just, it is phenomenal. And the things that's in place there. So we spent a whole day
Thank
there.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. And again, when you are there, and I know, people get used to what you do, I suppose,
Correct,
having you as the principal there and having you there that want the things the way they are. So they forget, how impressive what you preach really is, But
what happens? What happens in schools like that, Deirdre, and this is what's been so interesting coming into the consultancy space, is being able to remind principals that their parents become very used to what they're getting at the school, that they actually think that this is the norm, and that the incredible effort you're putting into your school, that is unusual. That is out of the ordinary. The fact that someone is so committed and delivering such a high standard of excellence, that needs to be celebrated and not just accepted as the norm. But we as humans, we do that. We live in a home, and we think, we become so casual about our home. But actually, as I say to my wife, she tells me that I'm really a pain in the neck. But we go away for the weekend, and I say, why are we paying money to come and stay in this place when my own home is so much nicer?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And everything is what it is. I like it.
I like it. Yes, my way.
No, for sure. But that's why that's why it's important today. Okay, so here we have. Now you are in Keller Education.
Man. Yeah, and look at that glove. Oh, I'm so
I know.
When I saw that photograph, I just about did a backward somersault, because my colleagues here in the Innovation Hub thought I would never be able to get this glove done, and I was determined that we were going to make this glove. And we struggled until we found the printer that would do it. And it works. It works. Just amazing.
Yep, exactly. Now, if I take that glove out, then big conversations happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So nice, man.
And then,
But look how beautiful. But look how beautiful that classroom of yours looks, man. You really spent your attention to creating what I like to call is the learning, the thinking space. The attention you gave to the thinking space with the light and the space and, oh man, it's just such a very special environment that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, it is, you would know this better than others, but we can have the dream and we can have this and that. But you need good people to do this with you.
Absolutely.
And I've been so fortunate to just have wonderful people that work with me and that believe in the same things and that has the same passion like I do, and we are a very small school. So people, they think they won't work hard here. They work harder at Shelanti.
Yeah.
Just because it is what it is. So, thank you very much for that. So,
absolutely.
Then you went into Keller Education, and this is where you are now.
Correct, yeah.
And I am now a partner school.
Oh, wow. So delighted to have you as one of our partners,
Yeah, but again, it's just, for me, it was, just an easy decision, because I'm looking at the things, for instance, that you have, things that I print from the website, and the gender-based classroom and the differences and all of these things that I print, and then in the beginning of each term surfing elephant emotions, the crocodile, da, da, da. And every term, there's something new that I can share. And like I said, what I love is, so if I tell teachers, so listen, you have to move, you have to cross, you have to this. But if I tell them the science behind it, like I said before, and I tell them the research that Gavin Keller, has done, and that it's sound. And also, the thing is, the other things we do, like let's take, for instance, the sensory thing. So the moment you feel your crocodile coming out, you now have a choice. So you go to your wheel of choice, you have a choice. But then also they have exercises that they can do. And those exercises are according to sensory what they need. And everything, all of that, I mean, it's not even really what you go into. But this is part of what you say, so what you say and do and what you share with us, really, it took everything in Shelanti and it put a bow on it, and there it is.
Yeah, because you see, you were committed at creating an environment where children who had these speed bumps in their developmental process in so-called mainstream schooling, which actually in reality means mainstream schooling weren't able to meet their requirements. We take that as an exception. And what you did is you then said, all right, how do we get the whole brain into a safe place so that it can, and so all that you have done is really link the entire processing system, whether it's sensory processing, whether it's our gender preferences, whether it is whatever the research is, it's all come together in a package that we can now offer children and offer teachers to give children the very best opportunities to taste success. Because we know as humans that when you feel a sense of accomplishment, when you feel that you can do it, the brain switches on.
Yeah. So for you, going into Keller Education, I suppose now gives you the opportunity to more freely share and hopefully change schools. Am I right?
Absolutely. And what I became very aware of is that running a school of 1,200, it was almost impossible to maintain that standard that I wanted to and be available, especially as I was getting older, to be sharing with schools around the country. And of course, then you're fighting a departmental, narrow-minded structure which says that even though your school is highly organized and highly structured, should you be out visiting schools during the school day? And so you're fighting that battle as well. And you say, well, how do you get to share a model that's really working with other schools that are desperate to find out? And so the decision to retire from full-time school leadership and move into this was really driven by two investors who said, listen, you're changing the lives of 1,200 children. How about let's change the lives of hundreds of thousands? That's, it's been their dream. Unfortunately, COVID whacked us quite hard in the midst of all of it, but it's given us a chance to really get the system working well. So, we're really excited. And I always knew that principals worked hard. I always knew that because I was one of them. But sitting in the position that I am now, I've just discovered it. They don't only work incredibly hard, but they are under such high levels of stress and anxiety that I really worry for the well-being, the emotional and the physical well-being of my teachers, of the teachers and principals in our schools, because it is an enormous job. And our hope is that we can come alongside and be in some way a support and a guide, and give them everything that you were talking about, what you printed out, everything that we've got on that website is what I wished I had as a principal. I knew I had it in some book, in some file somewhere, but it wasn't at my fingertips when I needed it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what we've tried to do on the website.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you say, when you say worry, my worry further, I think, to that is obviously with COVID, it has put enormous pressure on teachers, specifically government school teachers, like you know. And my worry is, you know, that we will start losing good teachers again from teaching. Because like you say, the pressure is enormous. And we're sitting in a situation where you are departmentally or governed by people which is inflexible, basically. An inflexible system.
Absolutely. And politicians appoint people that they can manage. So you're not getting your creative innovators moving into education any longer. We used to have them in the early days of the democratic South Africa. We had really great educational leaders coming in to try and change things. But now it's just a political appointment, you know, and they appoint their political henchmen to make it happen. And as a result, it's become tick box teaching, and we know all over the world, tick box teaching does not create creative, innovative adults.
Yeah, and it doesn't create adults that the future will need.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't future ready any child. So, and that's why I wanted to do this, to encourage you to do what you do, and for the team that work with you. I mean, Cindy and Brad is wonderful, and I know, you know, that they will go on, you know, and hopefully, you know, after you and after me. But to encourage you and your team to say what you're doing is so incredibly valid and it's so important and you know, and that you are such an inspiration, and that
thank you, man.
You've really you've formed something special, and I always want you to, you know, on the down days and the days that you think, you know, is it worth it? Are we going to pay the bills? I know exactly what you're saying, you know. And you're thinking, when I'm going to pay this month, and I'm going to go do this, you know, or I want you to find inspiration in Shelanti and know that whatever you've thought, whatever I've heard you say, has been relevant, it's been important. You've spoken into my life, you've spoken it into these children. So just take heart and tell your team also, what you do now is going to bless more people. And I really hope that Keller Education grows exponentially more to what you would ever, you know, imagine it to be. So,
thank you so much, Deirdre. That's so sweet of you. And that's so good to get that feedback, you know. I really value the time you've taken to do that, because that just is so important, even in the line that we're at, to realize that actually what we're doing has value.
It matters.
Yeah, it matters. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Gavin. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So lovely chatting to you, man. And thank you for this opportunity.